Hello students, welcome back. So in the video today we are going to write a Python program. So the first program for you. So might be some of you already have written some programs in the previous classes. So but how a Python program can be written today is our topic. So apart from writing the Python program for a given problem, we will also understand what the token means. The smallest unit of a program is called as a token. So let us move forward and start discussing about the program creation. So the language is important. So let's have an overview of the Python programming language. So why it has become popular in programming. So Python is a high-level language that is widely used, and it was released in 1991, and it was created by a Dutch person called Guido van Rossum. So because of its simplicity, it has become very popular. So it got its name from the serial called that was telecasted on BBC, Monty Python's Flying Circus, and the name has nothing to do with the reptiles or the snakes. So the name is Python, it appears to be. Now the Python is a high level, a dynamically typed programming language. High level means which are near to your natural language, like English in your mathematical symbols, C, C++, Java, cool. So most of the programming language which you learn actually all are basically your high level languages maximum. So dynamically means while you store some value in a variable, it automatically gets initialized, and apart from initialization, it also creates the variable the same time. So it is called as dynamically programming language. So that we will come across when we discuss about details in statement building. So Python is simple as it represents like a pseudo code. The pseudo code, a term which is basically used to represent a statement or a code that look like a programming code, a programming language code. So a code which appears to be a programming language code. So when you write your Python statement like what you've written in your algorithm and flow chart, the same statement can be used in your program writing. So it's called as a pseudocode language. And instead of writing number of lines for a kind of job, few statements are required in Python for doing the same kind of job as compared to C, C++, Java and other languages. So because its simplicity has become very popular. Now some applications which are built or created in your Python language. So worldwide it has becoming popular in your web also. For web application services, it find application, you can create your web applications, and software development, developing a kind of offline or maybe your online softwares are also used or created in your Python language. Apart from that, it also helps you to connect to your database system for record maintenance, accessing and managing your records through Python programs. So important thing nowadays is your big data. So big data means the amount of data that basically which come across on your internet daily. So day by day your internet is becoming more interactive, and the data size is becoming means huge. Multimedia data, pictorial data is being increased, and interrelated set of data is also being part of that data. So all these collection of data which are used on internet, clear, that is high rich multimedia data forms your big data, and for managing that big data Python is widely used. Next, data science. So data science is another branch that basically has become a new branch where you can have your career. So data science, a science of data, that means storing data, manipulating data, and using the data or modeling your data for solving new problems or planning your strategies for future. So that all basically data is important for that, and for data science is widely used programming language Python. So machine learning is also another part where it is used. So machine learning means robotics programming, you can say interacting with your hardware machines. So it is also being widely used in that area too also. So let us start building a Python program. So these are advanced topics that we will go through when you will want to have a pursue or to want to have a career in your Python programming language. So these are some advanced fields. So but today we are going to start from the scratch, the simple program. So as usual, we are taking a very simple problem, finding the average of two persons or two students. Raman scored 20, Mohan scored 21, and find their average. So this is already discussed in the previous video. So those who are new to this video might not have seen or watched that video. So a quick revision. So when we write the solution in number of steps like this here, So this represents your algorithm, the set of steps which you write to represent the solution of a problem. So this is assignment statement 20 stored in a name called M1, 21 stored in M2. So M2 represent the marks of your Mohan, M1 represent marks of Raman. And then finding the sum and dividing by 2 gives you the average, and printing. So printing your data means when you run your program, that will happen that time. So it's a statement that represents that means what to do with the answer, to display the answer. This is AVG is your answer, now stopping your work. So these are the 6 steps for your this problem, for solution of this problem, and this is called as algorithm. Same way, using an algorithm, when you depict all these steps in the form of some figures and diagrams, you say you have created a flow chart. The flow chart represents a flow of data more easily to understand, more easy to understand. So some shapes are used like this oval shape or this curved triangle, rectangle, which are used for starting and ending your process. Rectangles are basically used for representation of your assignment statements or for calculation statements. And for any kind of job that is input and output, your parallelogram is used. So parallelogram represents to give the output or maybe your input. So these are the simple solution in the form of algorithm and flow chart. So, and these set of statements like M1 equal to 20 are look like programming codes, pseudo codes. Same codes now we will be using for writing Python program. So Python is simple. So I have used what? M1 equal to 20. It means store value of first marks, that is 20, in a variable called M1. So in your Python, when you initialize a variable, it is at the same time it is created and initialized with a value. And the type of data it stores, that is 20, makes it a numeric variable. The same way the second statement creates M2 numeric variable. So initialization and creation of variable at the same time. So it is dynamic in nature because of this factor. Next, AVG is created after calculation of this expression, that is M1 plus M2 divided by 2. After the average is calculated, one value will be stored in your average. Now displaying the answer on the computer screen is done with the help of print statement. So print is a function in Python, clear? So here you cannot write uppercase or lowercase for your print. So keywords and your predefined reserved words are always written in, normally in most are in lower capital, lower letters of alphabets. So you cannot change that. So this is a predefined function. So print small and bracket AVG as a variable name. These are 4 statements that makes your program. Clear? So this is so simple. So it's almost look like your pseudo code. So let us take another one so that you have an idea of comparing something. So store a value in a variable and then check if it is even or odd. So here you can see that we have stored 80, the number, in a variable called num. After that, to find the remainder, there is an operator called modulus or percentage to be used in many programming language, in Python also, for finding the remainder. So dividing number by 2, the remainder whatever is, now it is returned and it will be stored in R. Then checking the value of R. If it is 0, it means it is okay, true. So this print even will be displayed on the screen if this algorithm is implemented in the form of a program. So this was the algorithm for writing or checking, entering and storing a value and checking if it is even or odd. Same way the flowchart look like. So beginning the process, assignment is a job, for rectangle will be used, calculation of remainder, again the rectangle will be used. And then after that, you have to decide whether it's true or false, a condition. So R double equal to 0 is a condition that has to be tested, whether you have to print even, whether you have to print odd. So there are 2 parts, one is the yes part, other is the no part, 2 branches are there. So 2 statements are there and you can select only one. So selection of statement depends upon this condition. So these kind of statements are called as selection statements or branching in programming. So if this is true, even will come, otherwise odd will come. In this case, as the value is 80, your even will be answer. Even will be displayed if this is print on the screen. So this is the solution, the quick review of flowchart and algorithm that already we have discussed in the previous videos. Now writing the program for this problem. So right now we are having the flowchart. So now let us write a program. So storing the value 80 in a variable. Next, finding the remainder and storing in a variable r. Now checking if the value of r is double equal to 0, double equal to and equal to are two different operators. It is for storage, it is for comparing. When you compare something, always your answer will be true or false. Clear? So r double equal to 0 means if the value stored in r is equal to 0 or not. If it is the case, if it is true, means this statement will be selected. If it is false, it will come to else part. So if else, so it forms your selection of the branching actually. So yes branch for printing even and no branch for printing odd. Out of these two statements, only one will be executed in your Python program. So you can see that in Python program something is new, that is indentation is new. So this space, so if we can see that extra space is basically used while you write a letter, you leave some space before starting some line or start of a beginning of a paragraph. That is called indentation, leaving some space. So space is always left, means before starting a block statement. A block statement means a compound statement like if. If is a collection of what? Some statement. If condition is true, this part will execute, otherwise this part. So there are two blocks. Clear? So one is your false block, other is your true block. So for that, this space is required. So this space is called the indentation space. Clear? That is new to your Python programming language. So that you'll understand as you move writing your programs. So at the beginning, we will be using your simple programs like simply calculations, average, sum up, like that, arithmetic calculations. So here modulus represents your remainder operator. It will return the remainder. Clear? Storing in your r. After that, comparing the value of r and 0, double equal to is a relational operator. Clear? It returns true and false. If it is true, even will be displayed, otherwise odd will display. So here these are the two spaces called indentation or the space before the grouped or the block statements. So I hope you are able to understand how a simple programs can be written using your Python. It's easy. So if is a predefined word, you cannot write in capital. Clear? So remember that thing. So the predefined words, clear, you cannot change those predefined words or predefined commands. That has to be used in the same way as these are given to you. The else and if are in lowercase. Keep that in your mind. Now let us understand what is the role of your tokens. So while you write your program, you come across operators, your variable names and other symbols, your brackets. So what these are called as. So while when you learn programming language, the basic goal is to write programs or you can say to develop your softwares. So that forms your basis for development of your softwares. But what is a software? So software, MS Office, Windows, your Adobe, your Android, all these softwares basically are developed using some programming languages. So these programming languages are required to learn so that you are able to develop programs and softwares. The software is a collection of programs which are tested, which are ready to use. Clear? So now this is a collection of program. How a program is created? The program is a collection of instruction, or you can say collection of statements. So every statement is actually a instruction to the system what to do. So statements are actually created using some set of collection of operators, operands, your data, variables. So these are actually called as your tokens. So tokens are the smallest unit that are used to build your statement or your program actually. So what is a token? So token, if somebody asks you, so it is the smallest unit of a program, the smallest unit which is not further disintegrated, otherwise it will become non-meaningful. So types of tokens that will come across whenever you learn your programming language. Before that means the tokens will be given to you. So always, most of the languages everywhere else, there are 5 kinds of token being used in various languages. So in a program, so keyword identifies your operators, your literals and punctuator. These are 5 kind of tokens that will come across. So let us understand in brief what are these. Clear? The topic which we start, it does not end quickly. So whenever you start something, it has to be carried. And the new thing depends upon the previous things. That should be the basis. That forms the basis of foundation actually. So the token, the first one, the keyword. The keywords are the reserved names or the command names, you can say, which are predefined in a programming language and that are used to form statement and programs. So like here, if, else, for and while. These are 4 keywords. So there are 33 keywords in your version 3 of Python. Clear? So 33. So there are some set of rules which actually governs which word you will define as a keyword. Clear? So there are number of some keywords that you will come across that you have to learn gradually one by one. So identifier. So in your program you will be storing data in the form of some names. So the names which we provide. Clear? The names can be system defined, also some names. So identifier can be given by you or some are predefined by systems. Clear? So identifier is the name given to the part of a program, like a function name, like a variable name, or maybe a program name. All these are identifiers. So whenever you write identifier, remember that you should start with an alphabet with the upper or lower case, underscore and digit can appear. So these 3 kind of character you should use, you must use in your identifier. Keep that in mind. Clear? Operators. Apart from these, you will do operation on your data. So to do operation on your data, number of various maybe arithmetic operators, relational operators are defined. So plus, minus, less than, more than. So there are number of symbols which are which convey some proper meaning. These are called as reserved symbols and these are called as operators. Clear? So plus, minus, multiply, your remainder operator, more than, less than, and your division. So there are lot many that will come across when we go through in detail. Literals, the values which you represent in your program, the name of a person, the marks of a person, the height of a person, whether true or false. So there are number of kind of literals, the constants that you will be storing and manipulating those data. So these constant values are called as your literals, and these literals you will be storing in the form of your variable names, you can say. Clear? So anything in double quotes is a string literal, or maybe your single quotes in Python, both are allowed. And numeric literals, integer or whether your decimal numbers. So apart from that, you will also use some kind of punctuators like comma, separators, quotation marks, your types of brackets in your statement building. So these are called as your punctuators. So these are 5 kinds of your tokens that you will be using to form the statement. Maybe few tokens are required, maybe all tokens are required for a statement building. Clear? So let us have identification of these tokens using some example. So let us take the discussed program. The first program where marks are stored and finding the average. In the second program, we have stored the number and checking if it is even or odd. So here you can see some are in uppercase character, some are in lowercase character. So let us identify the keyword. So before that, a print statement. So print, after that a pair of parentheses. It's a predefined function available in your Python. And the print name is in lowercase. It is used to display data on the computer screen. So there are 2 forms we have used, one with the message and other without the message, you can see here. Clear? So here only the message is there, no value is there. Here message and the value are there. So that we will understand when we will discuss about how the print can be used in various forms to display the kind of data on the computer screen. So it used to be a keyword, now it is placed as a separate category called function. The function is also a type of identifier. It's a predefined identifier, you can say. Clear? So the important keyword which are formally defined in your Python version 3. So if, else. So if and else are 2 keywords, both are in lowercase. Remember, almost every keyword defined in your Python are in lowercase. Here I, it's in capital, it should be in lowercase. So small I, keep remember. So if, all are in lowercase. So these are 2 keywords which I used. Identifiers M1, M2, AVG and num and r. In both the program, these are the 5 variable names that we have used. So these variable names are also called as identifier. Print is a function name that can also be set as an identifier. You can create your own functions also. Clear? So function name, program name, variable name, all these are called as identifier. Next, operators. Apart from these, we have used some operators, that is equal to, double equal to, modulus, and your slash and plus. So plus for addition, equal to for storage or assignment operator, but double equal to is for comparing values for equality. Clear? So this is a relational operator. This is a remainder operator. Next, literals, the constant value which you have used in your program, 20, 21, clear? So 20, 21 and 2 in both the program, 80, average equal to, now this average, it's a message, it's not a very operator right now here, equal to. So equal to, when placed in between your quotes, double quotes or single quotes, is called as a string literal. It is not now an operator like equal to, remember this point. So anything enclosed in single or in double quote in Python is called an alphanumeric constant. Name of a person, address of a person, of mixture of any characters, any characters. So that is the kind of data constant, clear? Now after that, some brackets we have used after print, parenthesis, and grouping the expression, mathematical expression, parenthesis, and your comma, quotation marks, double quotes and single quotes. So these are called as punctuators. So I think you got an idea what are now tokens and how you can divide the category of tokens, keyword identifiers, operators, literals, and punctuators. So I think for today it's over. I think all this gives a proper idea how you are able to write a Python program. It's very easy. So we have taken two different examples. One a simple one, simple mathematical, and in another case we have used a decision making statement. If block has been used. So try for these, do the practice. Try to solve the previously solved flowcharts and algorithms provided in your bridge course material. If there is any kind of problem and doubt, you can post on the group. So for today, it's over. So we will meet in the next video. In the next video, we will be discussing about how you can enter data, how you can display data, and how you can download and install your Python program. So practical part we will be seeing in the next video. So for today, it's over. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe at your home.